right, America. Burger Chef's got thick, juicy, terrific burgers for you.
Americans eat about 50 billion burgers every year. And if you've turned on the TV in the US anytime in the last half century or so, you saw that they get plenty of encouragement.
When people really want to smile, they order a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Magician, make me a Whopper.
What you want is what you get.
At McDonald's today.
That's 3 burgers per person per week. And sure, they're good, but also they're cheap, or so we've been told.
Right now, one Big Mac is just 55 cents as part of a my-size meal.
But turns out the price of a burger is much more than what's listed on the dollar menu. Raising a cow is expensive. Feed, weather, demand, and more recently, global health emergencies have made raising cows cost more than their market value. Even before COVID-19, farmers were losing about $22 per cow long before customers could have it their way. That's where the government steps in. Subsidies are supposed to maintain a cheap and stable food supply while keeping farmers in business. Each year, $50 billion are given to subsidize the meat industry. Those subsidies come out of taxpayers' wallets, meaning burger lovers have put a down payment on their quarter pounders before they've even placed their order. For every dollar spent on meat, that's about $2 in hidden costs, so a $4 Big Mac actually costs closer to $12. The Trump administration paid out an additional $14 billion to farms last year to offset the president's trade war with China, and $19 billion this year in COVID relief, which included $5.1 billion specifically for cattle farmers.
We'll be in very good shape. We're working with Tyson, which is one of the big companies in that world, and we always work with the farmers.
That hasn't necessarily helped small to mid-sized farms, though, who have reported struggles accessing the funds. The COVID relief package was designed to offset losses based on wholesale prices, which is great if you sell meat in large amounts, but means almost nothing for farmers like Jim Dinklage, who sells directly to consumers or restaurants that were forced to close.
We need more support from government. Probably need more support also financially because it's almost too late. In the cattle industry, we still have individuals out there, smaller individuals. And that's what makes an industry strong, is to have more individuals like myself and my family and my fellow cattlemen, and not big conglomerates owning the livestock.
But big conglomerates are exactly what's taking over. Outside of raising animals, almost the whole meat industry, the slaughtering, the packing, and the distribution, is dominated by just 4 companies: Tyson, JBS, National Beef, and Cargill. Collectively, they control about 75% of the meat supply chain. That's part of why Senator Cory Booker introduced the Farm System Reform Act, which would ban mergers and acquisitions in the meatpacking industry and phase out factory farming by 2040.
This large sort of corporate mega companies that are taking over entire aspects of our meat and poultry production. I mean, it's just stunning the impact it's having, frankly, on the well-being of workers and farmers and ranchers. All the things from our heritage is being destroyed by these monopolistic corporations that are making our food systems and our health so much more fragile.
The cost of burgers is piling up elsewhere, too. Red meat is linked to heart disease and diabetes, diseases that cost Americans over $500 billion to treat every year. And when it comes to the environment, a half-pound of beef produces the same amount of greenhouse gases as a 10-mile car ride. So rolling through the drive-thru makes your carbon footprint twice what you think.
If you let meat and dairy cost what it really costs, a family of 4 going to McDonald's would spend $100 for their meal. The impact of animal agriculture and meat and dairy production on human health, on water use, on rainforest deforestation, on ocean acidification, on the climate emergency, even if animals weren't involved and there was no such thing as animal suffering, I'd still be a vegan.
As the cost of beef rises, beef competitors are stepping up. Sales of alternative meat went up over 250% in the last week of March. And while alt burgers are still technically more expensive than their beefy counterparts, after you factor in subsidies and other external costs, the price of a Big Mac is 2 times more than its substitute. And fast food joints are catching on. Impossible Burgers are now available at Burger King, Fat Burger, and Carl's Jr.
Only at Burger King.
All the legendary flavor, none of the meat.
If there is a price for beef so high that Americans will stop buying it, we haven't hit it yet. And perhaps it's because of good marketing, or maybe just out of habit. Or perhaps it's because of beef's perception as being uniquely American.
What's more American than a cheeseburger? This cheeseburger.
After all, beef is costing American taxpayers, lining the pockets of a few, and being propped up by the government because it's too big to fail. And what's more American than that?